wherever you are always in a watershed, and what you do impacts all living things because it impacts the water. But really, salmon is the vehicle to think about how all of us depend on water. And if we're helping the salmon, we're helping all living things. So that's really why we're teaching about salmon.
We're there to educate the community on watershed issues or watershed education. We also do a lot of restoration. We have 6 properties right now that we're restoring to a native state, and we also do research.
A watershed is an area of land where water drains downhill and joins a common place.
Whidbey is very important. A huge number of out-migrating fish stop by here. It's important for them to have good, clean water and nutrients that come from these streams.
The county started looking at eelgrass all the way around the island and discovering that we are the bed and breakfast for all of the salmon coming back to Puget Sound. This used to be a thriving salmon stream.
The history of this whole area is that dikes were constructed in the early 1900s.
Where we're standing here in the Maxwelton Valley at the interface between the salt water and what was an estuary at one time, without a dike here or a bulkhead, the salmon would freely swim from the salt to the fresh, go up the stream, come back down.
The people who put those dikes in wanted to farm. What it did was cut off all of the streams that the fish use for reproduction.
That became an impediment to the salmon's migration.
At this point, I don't think there's any way we will remove the dikes, but what we can focus on is the health of the stream.
Renee Neff had this vision that they wanted to get the kids involved in the science of raising salmon and the goal of bringing more salmon back to the watershed.
The outdoor classroom started with an idea to grow salmon in the classroom. It kind of grew into, let's go release salmon in the stream. We decided we would ask our community to support us. The Island County commissioners gave us the first grant to buy land. The children asked the Rotary to build an outdoor classroom for us. The volunteers got together and built all the trails, and we were able to get a grant to furnish it with all the things an outdoor classroom needed. We decided to form a nonprofit organization, and we named it the Maxwelton Salmon Adventure because we wanted it to include the kids and the adventure that they were having.
It was a group of educators who really started the Maxwelton Salmon Adventure, and in the years following, we've changed it into Whidbey Watershed Stewards when we recognized that we could spread our impact.
Our facility is in the Maxwelton Watershed, but we are called the Whidbey Watershed Stewards. We wanted to grow out and not just be stewards of one watershed.
I felt what we were doing is connecting the kids to the environment. I figured if the kids got invested in it, their parents would be invested in it. After about 8 or 9 years, we all realized this could be bigger.
The people that came before me had the insight to really set it up so that it would continue. Then it became part of the school district, and it was because they wanted to make sure that the program was solid and would prosper.
The first few years, we were completely embraced. The farmers were really happy to have us come on their land and release our salmon before we got the classroom. But then salmon recovery started to ask that farmers make buffers around their streams. And when Island County adopted the stream buffers of 50 to 100 feet, there was a pushback, and the farmers didn't want us on their property anymore. I think that was a very pivotal time. We were cast in the same light as other environmentalists that were on the island that were really pushing for those stream buffers. And we did have a few farmers who would work with us, but it withered.
In any small community, there's definitely people who have a hard time understanding what's going on with an organization. And sometimes they might believe what we have going on might be impacting them. You just have to be gentle.
The school district got involved. They really believed in the project. And different people all throughout the watershed has been involved for a long period of time. I think the trust was broken a little bit with the farmers, but I think over the years it's mellowed a little bit.
I think in the last few years, Whidbey Watershed Stewards is becoming so strong with our education program. So I think people really see that we love this place, we love the history of this place. So I feel like a lot of our detractors are becoming supporters.
We have expanded our vision by expanding our educational program. The reason this is unique is because there's been a huge push in education for STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. And this program, we have tailored it, and it's grown into this prototype for that kind of experiential program. This is the state of the art right now in education. We wouldn't have designed it unless it was replicable. What's cool is on Whidbey Island here in Langley, with Langley Middle School, we've got one of the most prime programs.
We're consulting with individuals from the University of Washington and bringing those experts into the classroom. When students come out, we try to put them in small field groups. So we want to be able to have kids really interact with the stream. My hopes for Whidbey Watershed Steward is that we really are able to do more work and see kids more consistently.
We wouldn't be here without community. Probably our biggest challenge is financially, how do we keep ourselves solvent, especially since, we get these great gifts of property, but the gift of property then has some dollars behind it as well. I would love to see our membership grow. I would love to have more volunteers coming on board.
The volunteers allow us to break into small groups and explore. If I would have known when I was young all these things about the environment, I probably would have lived my life differently. So my hope is that if we bring this information to more kids, it'll be a vehicle for change.
It has surpassed any dream I might have had. The little group that started this, we were just going to get kids excited about salmon. It has blossomed into this incredible organization.